friends, I am Lakshmikant. Hope you all are fine, my dear. Here in this very topic, I am going to start the anatomy of flowering plants, that is mind map, my dear. Okay. So in this very mind map, what we should have to be known. Here in this very topic, here the anatomy. And previous, I was told you about the morphology of flowering plants. That is unit 2 of class 11th, my dear, right? Yes, that is the 5th chapter. And this one is the hope, so that is 6th chapter, my dear, that is anatomy of flowering plants. Here in this very topic, when I'm going to tell you about the anatomy, you know the meaning of anatomy. Definitely you know. Because in previous mind map, I was told you about the two terms, that is morphology, and second thing, that is what anatomy. The term anatomy, it means that if we study the any plants or the animals of its internal structures. So if we study the internal structures of any plants and animals, then we see what anatomy, my dear. And whenever we study the external features of the plants and animals, then we see what morphology. Correct. So this one is the thing that how we have to be correlate with this one chapter. Okay. So let me first start the term anatomy. Then after we have to be proceed in each and everything. So in this very mind map here, the things that you have to be see here, that the first we have to discuss what about the tissue, my dear. And before we have to be start this one tissue, first of all, there is very important to know here that, my dear, you know what is tissue? You don't know. Let's see. First you know the tissue, then after this classification, then after you go through the another thing, right? Let's see the thing. That is what, see, this one is the mind map. But because the things that whatever I'm what is showing there, na, that is there not any place to be right there. Okay, so that's why I take a blank slide, and so that's why I'm writing here. Okay, let's see. If anybody can ask you about the anatomy, then what you say, you know, if you study the internal structure of plants and animals, then it is known as what anatomy, my dear. Okay, so let's start with the term. The term is here is what, my dear? Tissue. Okay, the term is what? Tissue. So tissue is what, you know? Tissue is what? A group of cell. See what I'm writing? Group of cell to perform what I'm saying, to perform a specific function. See what I'm writing here? Group of cell to perform a specific function, my dear. A specific function. Clear? The group of cell to perform a specific function is known as what? Tissue. Correct? So simple term. So if anybody can ask you about the histology, yeah, tell me the term histology. If you know, then tell me, my dear. Histology. You know what is histology? So simple, my dear. Study of tissue is called histology. Study of tissue. Dear, what do you know that very basic thing I'm asking, okay? So if you don't know, na, take out your pen and copy and write down it your pen and copy, okay? Because this one is very important to know here. So first thing, before we start the anatomy of flowering plants, the things that what is written in your book, you know, the tissue. And first of all, I hope so that they must have to know about the tissue. If you know that, it is good. If you don't know, then you have to take out your pen and copy and write down this one definition, okay? So tissue is nothing, just it is only we say what group of cell to perform a specific function, my dear. So that is known as what? Tissue. So in this very chapter in tissue, what we should have to know all the internal structure about that very plants. Yes. So if we study that very internal structure of the plants, then it is known as what? Anatomy, my dear. Okay. You know what the level of organization? Yes, I'm asking to you. Yes, come here. I'm asking to you, my dear. Do you know what is the level of organization in each and every living organisms? Where the life we originate? Yes, you definitely know, because when I taught you chapter, you know the name of chapter, that is cell. Yes, the unit of life. And the life originate from where? Cell, my dear. Yes, correct. So cell is what? Basic functional and structural unit of life. So when the cells unite together, then it form tissue. When the tissue unite together, then it form what organ. When the organ unite to form what organ system. And when the organ system unite together, then it form what organism. And you know, when the organism unite together, then it is known as what? Yes, correct. That is individual. And whenever the individual unite together, then it called what? Yes, tell me. If the individual or unite together, then it form population. And if once the population unite together, then it form community. And once the community unite together, then it forms what? Ecosystem. Yes. And when the ecosystem unite together, then it form what? Yes, you forget, no? When the ecosystem unite together, then it form what? Biosphere, my dear. Yes, you're absolutely correct. So in this way sequence, now you're saying that, sir, what the sequence you tell, just I forget, please write down this thing. Can I write here? Can I write here? Okay. If you're saying to write me, then see, I'm going to write here. Here, the cell, the basic functional and structure of life. When the cell unite together, then it form what, my dear? Then it unite form what? Tissue. When the tissue unite together, then it form what? Organ. And when this organ unite together, then it form what, my dear? Organ system. What I'm saying? Organ system, my dear. And when this organ system unite together, then it form what? Yes, organism. And when this organism unite together, then it form what? Yes, this one is what? Population. Population. Not population, sorry. Cell, unite tissue, organ system, organism. Sorry. This one is what? Individual. When organisms unite together, then it form what? To called the individual. And आप लोग को भी लग रही है, and लग रही है तो बस प्रोटेक्शन में रहिए. Organisms मिले तो क्या कहलाएंगे? Individuals. And group of individuals, then it form what, my dear? That is called population. And whenever this population unite together, then what we call, my dear? When population unite together, then it form what? Community, definitely. And whenever the community unite together, then what it called? When the community unite together, then it form what, my dear? That is called ecosystem. And whenever this ecosystem unite together, then what it is called? Then it is known as what? Yes, my dear, definitely correct. That is what? Biosphere. Correct. And you all know that this community of two types. One is what? One is what? Biotic community. And another one is what? Abiotic community. Getting my point? Yes, see. Again, see. So if anybody can ask you about how the tissue form, then you say the group of cell. Whenever the group of cell to perform a specific function, then it is known as what? Tissue, my dear. Right? So when the tissue organized together, then it form organ, then after organ system, then organism, and after organism it form individuals. Just suppose I am individual, you also individuals, and this individuals unite together, then it form population. And after that, this population further unite together, then it form community. And you all know that the community of two types, that is biotic community and abiotic community. Biotic community, that means what? Living. And if I'm saying the abiotic community, it means what? Non-living, my dear. So the community, after community, they whenever they unite together, then it form ecosystem. And you hope so know the term ecosystem. So simple, my dear. If I'm saying about the ecosystem, it means that the biotic and abiotic together constitute in our surroundings. So whatever the things surrounds in our surrounding, that all very things is known as what? Ecosystem. And that very things, you know what? That is biotic. And another one is what? Abiotics, right? So after that, whenever this ecosystem unite together, then it form what, my dear? Biosphere. Definitely correct. Okay. So now see, this one is thing is very simple to know, to be start, how to be know this one topic. This one is very important topic at the point of examination, my dear. So see that what the things is being given to you. Yeah. So the tissue term is clear, group of cell to perform a specific function term is clear, histology term is clear. If I'm saying about the study of tissue is known as what? Histology. And then after here the some hierarchy of the level of organization that we should have to must know, my dear. Okay, now see another one, but the mind map is given here. Here the mind map, the first term is given here is about the what, my dear? Tissue. See what is written here? Tissue. Correct. So the definition of tissue is clear. Okay, can I proceed? Okay. Now see, after that we knowing about this one thing, my dear. After that, what we should have to be know, we should have to be classify the tissue, my dear. So once this thing is clear, then we all know that the tissue is of two types. One is plant tissue, and here second one is what, animal tissue. But in this very topic, what the topic is here, anatomy of flowering plants. So here we discuss about which one, tissue? Yes, correct. Here we discuss about which one, tissue? That is plant tissue, my dear. Very good. Here we discuss which one, tissue? Plant tissue. Why? Because here the topic is given what, anatomy of flowering plants. So that's why I'm saying, isn't it or not? So let's see. So if I'm saying here about the tissue, that is what, plant tissue, and if further you know that the plant tissue further be classified into how many parts? Yes, very good. That is what, first one is what, meristematic tissue. Number one is what, meristematic tissue, my dear. And you know the other name of what, meristematic tissue? Yes, very good. You say what, that is what, dividing tissue. Very good, my dear. This meristematic tissue is also known as what, dividing tissue. It means what, the tissue which has capability to divide, or the cell which has capability to divide, my dear. So once I'm saying here that once the cell is having the capacity to divide, then that very tissue is known as what, meristematic tissue, or you say the dividing tissue, right? Now the another name of this very tissue, that other classification, that is what, my dear, permanent tissue. See the name, what indicates? Permanent. It means what? Permanent tissue means what? That tissue that is non-dividing tissue. So that's why I'm writing here also. This permanent tissue is also known as what? Non-dividing tissue, my dear. What I'm going to write here? Non-dividing tissue. So see here. So if I'm saying here about the plant tissue further classified into two parts. One is meristematic, second one is what? Permanent. So whenever I'm going to say you about this one, meristematic tissue, or you say the word dividing tissue, my dear, and after that this one is what? Permanent tissue. The permanent tissue also known as what? Non-dividing tissue. Now the thing is here that what should we have to be know here, that if we know the term tissue, yes, if we know the term histology, yes, if we know the hierarchy of the life, that start from the cell and goes where? To the biosphere. See what the thing is written here, bio, and you all know the term bio. Bio means what? Life. Bio means what? Life, dear. And a sphere means what? The surface. A sphere means what? Surface. So see what I'm saying here, the life which is present on surface is known as what? Biosphere. And you all know that the life exists in three places, that is known as what? Terrestrial. It means the organisms which live on land. Aquatic, the organisms which live in water. And animals which live in air is known as what? Yes, correct, that is aerial animal, right? So see, so if I'm saying here about the tissue, then tissue term is clear. Now the classification of tissue, that is two. One is meristematic tissue and second one is what? Permanent tissue. Now the thing is here that we have to be must know that, sir, what is meristematic tissue? What the classification of this meristematic tissue? Okay, getting my point or not? See this one. See this one. Mind map. Here the meristematic tissue further be classified. This meristematic tissue is known as what? This meristematic tissue is known as dividing tissue. It means that they have capability to divide. Divide, you know. If the cell size grow, then it will divide. So which one divide first? Nucleus. Yes, you know, nucleus, my dear. So if the nucleus divide, then we say what? Karyokinesis. Good. And whenever the cytoplasm goes to divide, then it is known as what? Cytokinesis, my dear. So in karyokinesis and cytokinesis, which one divide first? Yes, good. This one. But here the answer, karyokinesis means what? Division of nucleus, my dear. Correct? Now the point is here that if I'm saying about the meristematic tissue, that is the word dividing tissue, and this dividing tissue further be classified into three parts. Number one, that is what? Apical. See here the term apical meristem. Okay, and this one is what intercalary meristem, and see this one is the what third lateral meristem, my dear. So do you know what the meaning of apical, intercalary and lateral? See, with the help of diagram, I'm just going to tell you about the with the help of diagram, my dear. See, this one is a tissue, that is what meristematic tissue. Here I'm going to draw a diagram of which one, that is meristematic tissue. Yes, definitely correct. This one is what meristematic tissue, right? See, this one is the diagram of meristematic tissue. So if I'm going to tell you here about this one tissue, then what we know here, see, here I'm going to write the name also of this very tissue. See, here, this one is known as what? Apical. This one is known as what? Apical. Apical means what? Apex. Suppose this one is the plant. If I'm saying here the apical region, it means what? That is the topmost region of the plant. See what I'm saying here, the topmost region of the plant. So here is the word apical. Not only the stem of apical, root apical is also known as what? Yes, correct. So at the root apex is also known as apical. Stem apex is also known as what? Apical. Okay, so this one here is what? Apical meristem. And this one is intercalary. What I'm writing here, intercalary meristem, my dear. And see this one is what, and I'm going to make this one is what? Lateral meristem. See what I'm writing here, this one is what? Lateral meristem. So see here, this one is what? This one is lateral, and this lateral meristem is responsible for the growth in girth of a stem. girth का मतलब क्या? मोटाई, है ना? तो स्टेम की मोटाई को बढ़ाने में जो हेल्प करता है उसे क्या कहते हैं? लैटरल मेरिस्टेम. So let's see, if I'm saying here the apical meristem which is responsible for the growth in plants, and this one is the intercalary which is present at the nodes and internodes which is responsible for the, yes, development of leaf stalk, flower, birds, yes or no, and fruits, whatever. So that all very meristematic parts, that is what? Intercalary. So if I'm saying here that plants having what? The growth of their stem, they known as what? Lateral meristem. Growth of a stem, that is what? In laterally, that is what? Here see the diameter of the stem, if I'm saying here, is that clear? Okay, so now see, my dear, this one is the diagram of apical, intercalary and lateral meristem, right? So see this one, mind map. So apical, intercalary and lateral, you know the position, which one their position is here. Now further, this permanent tissue is classified into how many parts, my dear? Two. Very good. One is what? Simple, and second one is what? Complex, my dear. So let's see here, when I'm going to tell you about the, when I'm going to tell you about what that is permanent, that is what? Permanent tissue, right? See what I'm saying. So here I'm going to say what? Permanent tissue further be classified into how many parts, my dear? You know, further here classify in two way. Clear? One is what? Simple. One is what? Simple. And second one is what? Complex, my dear. See what I'm saying here. One is simple. Second one is what? Complex. Let's see first here that if we have to be discuss here that about the meristematic tissue, it means what? That very tissue, that is the what? Growing tissue, that is mainly responsible for growth in a plants, right? So once the plant stop in growing, then the parts of that very plants become permanent. It means that they have lose their capability to divide. So if the plant lose their capacity to divide, my dear, then we say that very part is known as what? Permanent. Correct? So that's why I'm saying about permanent tissue. And this further Permanent tissue classified into two parts. That is, one is what simple and second one is what complex, my dear. Now the time here to know that what the classification of simple, my dear. Here the simple further be divided into how many parts? Yes, very good. That is parenchyma. That is what? Parenchyma. Second one is what? Collenchyma. Second one is what? Collenchyma. And third one is what, my dear? Sclerenchyma. Third one is what? Sclerenchyma. Correct? So this one is the classification of simple permanent tissue. Now the time here to know about this one, complex. So complex tissue further be divided into how many parts? Two parts, my dear. One is what? Xylem. One is what? Xylem. And second one is what? Phloem. Correct? Second one is what? Phloem, my dear. This one is what? Phloem. Right? See what I'm saying. Here I'm going to say that this complex tissue is also known as what? The tissue which has lost their capacity to divide. So once the tissue lost their capacity to divide, it means that the cell is not be grow internally. Okay, so the internal structure lose their capacity to divide. So in that very cases, it divided into two parts, that is simple and complex, my dear. Okay, so if I'm going to say here about the simple tissue, it means what? The simple tissue means what? The tissue which have what? Simple in nature, that is having belongs parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Okay, and after that complex tissue further be divided into two parts, that very known as what? Vascular tissue. Getting my point what I'm saying? So whenever I'm saying here the complex tissue further be classified, then what we say? Here we say that this very complex tissue further divide into the two parts. That very two parts is known as what? Vascular tissue. And vascular tissue consists what? Two. That is one first xylem and second one is what, my dear? Phloem. Right? So the xylem and phloem is what? To conducting tissue also we say. Okay. So what the meaning of the conducting tissue? Conducting tissue means that the tissue which is responsible to carry the some substances. Now the thing is here to know that what the some substances to carry. Yes, see here. Here I'm going to say, whenever I'm going to say about the xylem, it means what? It is responsible to carry what? Carry water along with what's, my dear? Minerals. Getting what I'm saying? So if I'm saying here that the xylem is such a conducting tissue which is responsible to carry water along with minerals, then it is known as what? Xylem. Right? Now, if I'm saying the plants which carry the what? Food. Yes, see what I'm saying? Food. And you know that the plant make food. And you know that plant is autotroph also. So if I'm saying here that the plant is autotroph, it means what? The plants will synthesize their own food. So if the plant synthesize their own food, my dear, it means that they can use not the whole food, but that very plant also transport that very food to each and every parts. You know how? The food, whatever prepared by the plants, and you know that the kitchen of the plant is one what? That is leaves, my dear. So once the leaves manufacture the food, that very food is transported to each and every part. And you know what? And you know what? That very food is transported with the help of what, my dear? Yes, that a tissue, that is the word phloem. So manufactured food is not only stored in a leaves, they can transport each and every part of the cell. But the question is here, how? With the help of, yes, conducting tissue, that is phloem, my dear. So see, the phloem is responsible to carry what? To carry manufactured food. See what I'm writing here? Carry what? Manufactured food, my dear. Okay, is that clear what I'm saying? So if I'm saying here about the xylem, it means what? The carry water and minerals. Now the second thing that is very important to know here, that xylem carry this water and minerals in unidirectional. What I'm writing here? See first. I'm writing here what? Unidirectional. You know the meaning of, dear, what? The unidirectional. Unidirectional means what? In a single direction, my dear. So in a single direction, it means what? The water and minerals absorbed by the roots, and whatever the water and minerals absorbed by the roots, that very roots carry that very water and minerals with the help of a tissue. That very tissue is known as what? Xylem, my dear. Okay. After that, whatever the water and minerals absorbed by the plants, after that, the carbon dioxide, sunlight, and the chlorophyll, the present in our plants, that very things is utilized for photosynthesis. What I'm saying here? What I'm saying here, the term photosynthesis. See, I'm saying here the term what? Here, photosynthesis. Here what? Photosynthesis. So photo means what? Light. What I'm saying here? Photo means what? Light. And synthesis means what? To manufacture. Manufacture. Getting my point, my dear? Yes. So here I'm saying that if the plants make their food in the presence of what? Light, my dear, known as what? Photosynthesis. Correct? So in photosynthesis, what? The plant manufacture the food, right? So here the basic thing, that is the photosynthesis. It means that the plant which manufacture their food, right? Now the thing is here that to be know here that this manufactured food is transported, yes, to each and every parts of the plants. But the question is here how this transported food with the help of what? A conducting tissue, that is phloem. And second point that is very notable to note here, that whatever the manufactured food that made by the plants is not stored only in the leaves, that transported each and every parts of the tissue. But what the direction, that is not in a unidirectional only, that is in both directional. That is unidirectional, not only both direction. It means what? It transport the food to the apical region of the stem also, as well as the root also. Okay, so in both direction, in upward direction as well as what? Downward directional. So that's why I'm saying here in phloem is what? Bidirectional. What I'm writing here? Bidirectional. So bidirectional means what? Carry the food in both direction, upward as well as downward. So see this one, mind map, my dear. So what this mind map tell here? Here the mind map tell about that the simple and complex. See this one thing is written or not? Here the simple and complex. This simple be further divided into how many parts? 3 parts, that is parenchyma. Second one is what? Collenchyma. Third one is what? Is sclerenchyma, my dear. Okay. Now see, this one is the complex tissue further, and this complex tissue further divided into 2 parts, that is xylem, and second one is what? Phloem, my dear. Okay. Now next the question here is to be know that this simple tissue, that is parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. This is sclerenchyma tissue further be divided into 2 parts, that is fiber and scleroid. What I'm saying? Fiber and what? Scleroid, my dear. So fiber, that is made up of what? Rough edge. You know that if I'm saying about the rough edge, it means what? The things that is what? Containing cellulose, cellulosic material, that is known as what? Rough edge, my dear. Getting what I'm saying? So if I'm saying here that the cellulosic material, then it is known as what? Rough edge, my dear. So see here the things, that the classification. Now the further the xylem and phloem is further be classified, that is xylem classified into first tracheids, vessels, xylem fibers, xylem parenchyma. In the same way, the phloem also classified, my dear. So what are they? That is sieve tube elements. Second one is companion cell. Third one is phloem parenchyma, and fourth one is what? Phloem fibers, my dear. Right? So these all are the classification of the xylem and phloem. Now the thing is here the right position to be go in details? No, my dear, because this one is the mind map. So here only I'm telling you that what the classification of that very things and what the things is be here, only the little bit. But when you go in details of this very chapter, then we know that what the thing is be there. Getting my point or not? So here in the mind map, you have to be know that this one is the sequence that we should have to be know. But how we should have to be know, whenever you go through in a details video, when you go through in my detailed video, then you know there that yes, this one is the thing that we have to be know, and in this way we have to be know. Okay. So see, now the point is here that to be go through the NCERT, something that is what? NCERT, my dear. So that's why I'm saying to you, let's see what the NCERT is written here. See, anatomy of this flowering plants. So dear, if I'm saying here about this anatomy of the flowering plants, you know what I'm saying. I'm saying here that see first. What I'm saying here, see first. Here. Okay. So make this point clear. Now see. This one is the anatomy of flowering plants. See here, anatomy of flowering plants. So if I'm going to tell you about this anatomy of flowering plants, my dear, then what we know here according to the NCERT. Here NCERT tell you about this anatomy of flowering plants. The first term that is what? The first term that is what, my dear? Wait for a moment. Wait for a moment. Where the pen is here. Okay. So when I'm going to highlight on this thing, let's see. See. So here, see the tissue system. See this one is the tissue system. So we are discussing the type of tissue based on the type of cell present, because the tissue is made up of what? Cell. I told you here, na? Cell. And cell is what? Basic functional and structural unit of life. So if I'm saying here that the cell is what? Basic functional and structural unit of life, and that very cell is responsible to perform what? A specific function. Now, the question is here that if the tissue is be here, then what the thing is to be known? That let's see. Here, tissue, what varying depending on their location, and that vary depending on the location, you know what? That is simple and complex, as well as what? Meristematic and what? Permanent. Let's see here. So their structures and function would also be dependent on the location. Getting my point? So whatever the structure of the plant tissue or in the function, they also may depend on the location also. So on the basis of their structure and location, my dear, there are three types of tissue system. Yes, there are three types of tissue system. You know what are they? Number one, they are the epidermal tissue system. Second one is the ground or the fundamental tissue system. And third one is what, my dear? Vascular or conductive tissue system. Getting my point? So this one is important points to be know here, that what on the basis of the structure and location, here the tissue classified into three parts. So three tissue system. One is what? Epidermal. So if anybody can ask you about what the term, what the meaning of epidermal. So dear, see, if I'm saying here that epidermal, suppose this one is my hand, and if I'm saying this one epi means what? Above. Dermal means what? Layer. So the above layer of the cell or your tissue is known as what? Epidermal, my dear. Okay. So see, on the basis of their structure and location, there are three types of the tissue system. That is what? Epidermal tissue system. And second one is what? Ground tissue, or you say the fundamental tissue system. And third one is what? Vascular, or what you say? Conducting tissue system. Let's see one by one. That is first, that is epidermal tissue system. So dear, in this very thing, what we should have to be know, epidermal tissue system. So see, if I'm saying here the epidermal tissue system, it means what? The epidermal tissue system forms the outermost covering of the whole plant body. Just I say na, if I'm saying here the outer means what? Outer region of the whole plant body is made up of what? Epidermal tissue system. Right? And what I'm saying here comprises epidermal cells also. Epidermal cells also. Which one? That is a stomata. Yes, that is minute opening on the present on the surface of the leaves. And the what? Epidermal appendages. That is trichomes and hairs. Yes. So these all are what? The epidermal tissue system, which is known here what? Most outer covering of the whole plant body. So if I'm saying here that the most outer covering whole plant body, that is comprises of epidermal cells. Yes, epidermal cells, stomata and epidermal appendages. And if I'm saying here that the epidermal appendages, you know the meaning of appendage? Chote chote pair, trichomes and hairs. Yes. So the epidermis, see what I'm saying, epidermis is what? Is the outermost layer of the primary plant body. So see, if anybody can say you about the which one is the primary plant body, then you say what? Epidermis. So what it is made up of? It is made up of elongated, compactly arranged cells which are forms a continuous layer. See what I'm saying? Continuous layer. So if I'm saying here the continuous layer, then it is known as what? Elongated, compactly arranged cells which are continuous layers. So epidermis is usually a single layer. So if anybody can ask you, which one type of epidermal? Epidermal is nothing, just only what? Single layer tissue. So the epidermal cells are parenchymatous. See, this one is the simple parenchymatous, parenchyma, collenchymatous, collenchyma, sclerenchymatous, sclerenchyma. So here I'm saying what? Parenchymatous with a small amount of cytoplasm, not very large amount. So see what I'm saying, a small amount of cytoplasm. So if I'm saying here the small amount of cytoplasm that is lining the cell wall and a large vacuole, here the large vacuole. Okay, see what I'm saying. So cytoplasm, if you're saying what, cytoplasm is very small amount, okay, and the vacuole is what? Large. This one is the thing. Now the outside of the epidermis is often covered with waxy thick layer, and that very waxy thick layer is known as what, my dear? Cuticle. Cuticle. So if anybody can ask you the term cuticle, then what you say? Yes, I'm asking to you. If anybody can ask you about the cuticle term, then what do you say? To say that, so the outside of the epidermis is known as what? Waxy layer. That waxy layer is known as what? Cuticle. Which prevents, what the function of this cuticle? Which prevent the loss of water. But my dear, that is very, very important to know. Cuticle is absent in roots. Cuticle is not present in root, my dear. Yes, stomata are the structures present in the what? Epidermis of leaves. Stomata present where? Epidermis, above layer of the leaves. Stomata, what the main function of stomata? Stomata regulate the process of transpiration. See what I'm saying? Transpiration. You know the meaning of transpiration, my dear? Transpiration means what? Excessive loss of water. Where? Where? From the basal region of the leaves. Yes, that is known as what? Transpiration. As well as the what? Exchange of gases. Gaseous exchange. So, if I'm saying here that which one is the parts of the plant is responsible for the what? Regulation of loss of water as well as the exchange of gases. Yes, you say, my dear, stomata. Right? So see, each stoma term is here is what? Singular. Stomata is what? Plural. So each stoma is composed of two bean-shaped cells. See, if I'm saying here the bean-shaped cell, my dear, so this one thing. So this one thing. If I'm saying here bean-shaped, so which one? How the structure of bean-shaped? Let's see here. Here I'm going to draw a diagram of what? Stomata. Let's see. Let's see. Bean-shaped. So this one is structure. Yes. This one is structure of what? Stomata, my dear. Correct? And this is stomata having what? Double layered membrane known as what? Guard cell. Wait for a moment. Now, this one is what? This one is what? Okay, this one is what? Double layered membrane. See what I'm saying to you? This one is double layered membrane. So see, here the outer membrane, this one is known as what? Guard cell. This one is what? Guard cell, my dear. See what I'm saying? Guard cell. Clear? Double layered membrane. And inside this one guard cell containing what? See, containing what? Here this one is what? Here this one is what? Chloroplast. What I'm saying here? The term is what? Chloroplast. And you know that the chloroplast, chloro means what? Green, and plast means what? Pigment. This one is what? This one is what I'm saying dear? Chloroplast. Correct? And this opening is known as what, my dear? This opening is known as what? A stomatal pore. See what I'm writing here? Stomatal pore, my dear. So this stomatal pore is responsible for exchange of the gases. Yes, you are right. Exchange of the gases. It means what? If I'm saying here the exchange of gases, it means that what? Taking off CO2 and releasing what? Oxygen. And it means inhalation of CO2 and exhalation of what? O2. That is oxygen. So you know that the green plants need what? Carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. So that's why I'm saying to you. Let's see. Now come to the point where in NCERT, my dear. So come here where? NCERT. So what the NCERT telling here? Let's see. After that, guard cell. Look this one thing. This one is known as what? Guard cell. This one is what? Guard cell, which enclose a stomatal pore. And this guard cell is responsible for opening and closing of stomatal pore. So see, and this one is regulating by which one? Their specialized shapes and size known as subsidiary cell. This one is the diagram of a stomata that is given out NCERT. Take out NCERT. Yes, I am telling you, take out NCERT and see there the things is given there or not properly. See there. So see here the epidermal cell. This one is open stomata. This one is what? Closed stomata. Correct? And see, this one is the epidermal cell in both. See, this one is the open. This one is the what? Closed. Clear? So diagrammatic representation here, stomata with the bean-shaped guard cell, stomata with the dumbbell-shaped guard cell. So see, this one is the dumbbell shape. This one is what? Yes, bean shape. So now the thing is to be know here, that here, this one is the what? The subsidiary cell. See, this one is the subsidiary cell. This one is the subsidiary cell. And inside the subsidiary cell, there is what? Chloroplast. See, this one is the chloroplast. This one is the guard cell, which is responsible for what? Opening and closing of a stoma. And this one is a stomatal pore, my dear. This one is what? A stomatal pore. Thing is clear? Thing is clear? So, see, if I'm saying here that in the grasses, okay, so the grasses, the guard cells are dumbbell shaped like a structure. You know the dumbbell shapes. In a gym, the person use dumbbell to make their body. So this one, see, in a grasses, which type of cell? In grasses, which type of the cell, my dear? Yes, this one is what? Dumbbell shaped. Clear? Which one? Dumbbell shaped. So the outer wall of the guard cell away from the stomatal pore. See, outer wall of the guard cell away from. You know the meaning of away? दूर जाना stomatal pore से है. और कैसा होता है? Thin and inner wall. And the inner wall towards the stomatal pore. Clear? So see, here I am saying that the outer wall of guard cell is away from the stomatal pore. So see, this one is the what? Outer wall away from the stomatal pore. This one is the away from the stomatal pore. Yes, sir. And highly thickened. See, this one is what? This wall is what? This wall is what? Highly thickened. Na? Yes, sir. Definitely. And the guard cell poses what? Chloroplast. Very good. Yes. Which chloroplast. And regulates the what? Opening and closing of stomata. Yes. Definitely. And this one is what? Some few epidermal cells in the vicinity of the guard cells become specialized in their shape and size, known as what? Subsidiary cell. So see, this one is the what? Subsidiary cell. Why this one subsidiary cell? Because in the vicinity of the guard cells, so this vicinity makes them what? Is specialized in the shape and size, my dear. Now the question is here, the stomatal aperture. The function of the stomatal aperture is what? To guard cell, to guard the cell, and the stomatal surrounding subsidiary cells together known as stomatal aperture. See, this one is a diagram. Stomatal aperture is here, and this stomatal aperture is responsible for what? Yes, to carry the water along with what? Exchange of gases, my dear. Mainly responsible for exchange of gases. Clear? So the cells of epidermis bear a number of hairs. The root hairs are unicellular elongated. If anybody can ask you about the root hair, then what do you say? Yes, unicellular elongation of the epidermal cells, which help to absorb water and minerals from the soil. So mainly here the water and minerals is absorbed by the root hairs. Yes, on the stem, the epidermal hairs are called trichomes. So if I'm saying here the trichomes, so trichomes in the shoot system also, and that very shoot system is what? Multicellulars. They may be branched or unbranched. So if I'm saying here the branched or unbranched means what? Means what? They having what fine hair like projections, which is responsible for their what? Carrying the things, mainly the water and minerals. Unbranched are soft and stiff, correct? So they may even be a secretory. They also secretory substances. Here the trichomes help in preventing water loss due to transpiration. You know that excess of water can loss. You know the excess of whenever the water be lost, my dear. So then uh, there is a what? Then there is a what? Trichome, and that very trichome is responsible to prevent the water loss, my dear. Okay. Okay. Now come to the point here on where that is on. So this one is the anatomy of flowering plants, and this one is the diagram of what? Stomatal opening stomatal. This one is what? Stomata. Stomata. So which one is stomata here? This one is what? Open. This one is what? Open. So when I'm talking about the closed stomata, so see if I'm making the drawing of closed stomata, and so this one, see, in this way the closed stomata, dumbbell shape like structure. See, this one is the closed stomata, which also having but double layered membrane, which also has what? Yes, see, this one is what? Double layered membrane. Okay. Yes, this one is also chloroplast. This one is also chloroplast, my dear. So this one is which type of stomata? This one is what? Closed stomata, correct? And this closed stomata, when? During the daytime or night? During night, my dear. What I'm saying here? During night. To write here, during night. So during night, stomata what? Close. But during the daytime, stomata what? During the daytime, my dear, stomata what? Open. Getting my point? Yes. So this one is the thing. Now see here that what the thing is given here in mind maps, my dear. Hope so this term is clear. Xylem term is clear. Okay. So in the xylem, there core part, that is tracheids, vessels, xylem fibers, xylem parenchyma. Clear? And phloem further divided into sieve tube, companion cell, phloem parenchyma, phloem fibers, my dear. Now here fibers clear, scleroid term is also clear. Okay. Now see, if I'm saying here that the tissue system basically the classification of this tissue system into three parts, that is epidermal tissue system, ground tissue system, and third one is what? Vascular tissue system. So here if I'm saying the epidermal tissue system, then it divided into two parts, that is epidermis and stomata. So this term stomata is clear. Epidermis term is clear. Now appendages, epidermal tissue system having what? Appendages, and that appendages is what? Trichomes, and here this term is also clear. Okay. Now next thing, that is what? Ground tissue system. If I am saying about the ground tissue system, then what the ground tissue system, my dear, this one is important to see about the ground tissue system, my dear. Okay, wait for a moment. Yes, now come in this slide. Ground tissue system. Here in a ground tissue system, what we should have to be know that, so all tissue except epidermis, see what I'm saying, except epidermis, it means what? Here we not involve what? Epidermis, and vascular bundles also constitute the ground tissue. See, again I'm repeating here, I'm telling you that except epidermis and vascular bundles all constitute where? Ground tissue, correct? Number 1 point. Second thing, that is what? The simple tissue. What the simple tissue? Tell me. Yes, parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. I just told you, just go through my videos from starting. Yes or no? If you come to here and study, then it is very difficult to know here, my dear. So just you have to be what remain my video, then it is what very easy to know. Okay, so see, all the tissue except epidermis and vascular bundles constitute the what ground tissue. So here I am telling you that the it consists of simple tissue. Which one is what? Parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. And this parenchymatous cells are usually present where? In cortex. Where it present? Cortex. Where it present? Pericycle. Where it present? Pith and medullary ray. So there is a what place where the parenchymatous cells are usually present. So if anybody can ask you that where the parenchymatous cells are usually present in a plants, then what you say? In a cortex region, in a pericycle region, in a pith region, or medullary ray region. So these three region, there's four region, not three, four region where the parenchymatous cells are present. So in the primary stems and roots, in the leaves, ground tissue of thin chloroplast containing cell, that very cell is known as what? Mesophyll. What I'm saying? Mesophyll. So see, mesophyll cell is such a cell which contain basically in a thin walled chloroplast. And this mesophyll cell is responsible for, yes, capturing of solar radiation so that the green plants can synthesize their own food, my dear. Getting my point? Yes. So if I'm saying here that the plants which can synthesize their own food, this is only responsible by whom? That is a mesophyll cells, my dear. And this mesophyll cells having what? Thin walled chloroplast. And this thin walled chloroplast containing what? Chlorophyll. And that very chlorophyll is responsible for synthesizing their own food. And you know, in a chlorophyll there is the what? A plastid. The name of the plastid is what? Chloroplast. Yes. And in chloroplast there is a wall of thylakoid. Yes, you know, in topic, the name of topic is photosynthesis, my dear. The wall of thylakoid is responsible for manufacturing of food, my dear, right? Also clear? Now the point here to know. What the point here to know, my dear? Vascular tissue system. So see, here the diagram that tell you about the what? Vascular tissue system. See, vascular tissue system. And you all know that this vascular tissue system containing two types. One is the xylem, second one is what? The phloem, my dear. See this one, the diagram of NCERT. Xylem and what? Phloem. Yes or no? So here, if I'm saying about this one, xylem and phloem, see here in a mind map also, my dear, what I'm going to tell you. Let's see. This one is the mind map. See, this mind map also tell you about here what? Epidermal tissue system, that is ground tissue system. Yes or no? Vascular tissue system. So vascular tissue system consists of what? Xylem and phloem, my dear. Yes or no? So this xylem and phloem we have to be know. But before we have to be know this one thing, what we should have to be study. See, what we should have to be study, my dear. So this one is the thing that we have to be study. Yes or no? So the vascular tissue system what consists of? Consists of complex tissues. Yes. And that complex tissue, that is what? Phloem and the word the xylem. Right? So the xylem and the phloem together constitute a vascular bundles. Yes. See, this one is the diagram. This one is the vascular bundles. Xylem, phloem is outward. See, vascular bundle. So if I'm saying here, what, my dear? See, if I'm saying here the various types of vascular bundle, here that is what? First one is what? Radial. This one is what? Radial. This one is what? Conjoint or closed. And this one is what? Conjoint, open. So what the difference between? See, this thing is written here. This thing is written here. Yes or no? This thing is written. So see, in a dicotyledonous system, what I'm saying here? Dicotyledonous. So if I'm saying here the dicotyledonous system, you know it means what? That very stem where the cambium is present. And this cambium is present between where? Phloem and xylem. See, here the xylem and then the phloem, against the phloem, xylem, phloem, xylem, phloem. Okay, so in present between the phloem and xylem, there is what cambium. Such a vascular bundles, because of the presence of cambium, poses the ability to form a secondary xylem. Yes, see, this one is the formation of what? Secondary. This one is the what? The secondary xylem, my dear. And this secondary xylem and phloem tissue are called open vascular bundles. Which one? Which one? Yes, open. So see, here the conjoint open, my dear. See, this one conjoint open. Above is what? Phloem. Below is what? Xylem. See, below is what? Below is xylem, and above is what? Phloem. So in between this phloem and xylem, there is what? Cambium. So here in monocotyledonous, my dear, monocotyledons, the vascular bundles have no cambium. Yes, in monocotyledons, the vascular bundles have no cambium, while in dicotyledonous, vascular cambium is present. So hence they do not form secondary tissue. So in a monocotyledonous plant, the vascular bundles doesn't form secondary tissue because they have no cambium present in them, right? So they are referred to as a closed system, my dear. Okay. So now, when the xylem and the phloems within a vascular bundles are arranged in a what alternate manner along with the different radii, right? Yes. See, this one is the different radii. And this arrangement is called radial. And this arrangement only is seen where? In roots. And in conjoint type of vascular bundles, see what I'm saying here? In conjoint types of vascular bundles, the xylem and the phloems are jointly situated along with the same radius of the vascular bundle. So see, if the same radius is be here, then it is known as what? Conjoint. So see, in a B figure, here the word conjoint vascular bundles. So why I'm saying here the conjoint vascular bundles? Because the phloems are jointly situated along the same radius, or you say the vascular bundle. Such a vascular bundles are common in stems and leaves also. So the conjoint vascular bundles usually have the phloem located only on the outer side of the xylem. Where it is located? It is located on the outer side. So this one is the very important points to note, my dear, that how the vascular tissue be arranged. So here the vascular tissue bundles be in three way. Number one is that is what? Radial. Above figure is radial. Second one B figure, that is conjoint, that is closed, and third one is what? Conjoint open. So conjoint open when there is a cambium formation, my dear. Where the cambium formation? So this cambium formation is present where? In between xylem and phloem, my dear. Correct? So this one is very important point to note, my dear. Now, next here, now come to the point where on a mind map, see what the mind map is telling about each and everything is clear here. So what the epidermis, pericycle, pith, cortex and medullary ray, this term is clear. Ground tissue system, vascular tissue system, xylem and phloem term is clear here, my dear. Now the point here to be know that anatomy of dicots and monocots. What the anatomy of dicots and monocots? Let's see first one by stem, then after the root, then after what? The leaf, my dear. So see first. See here, anatomy. What I'm saying here? Anatomy. See, this one is the anatomy of dicotyledonous. See what I'm saying here? Wait for a moment. Here the anatomy of dicotyledonous and monocotyledonous plant. You know the meaning of on the basis of the cotyledon, my dear, the plants classified in two parts, that is monocotyledon, and second one is what? Dicotyledon. So if I'm saying here that the plant is monocot, it means what? Single cotyledon. And you know what is cotyledon? Yes, so simple. Cotyledon is what? Cotyledon is the stored food contained in the plants. That very stored food is known as what? Cotyledonous. But when I'm saying about the dicotyledonous, it means what? They contain two cotyledon. Yes, the example is what? Pea. Example is gram. Yes or no? Yes. So see, anatomy of dicotyledonous and monocot. For a better understanding of the tissue organization of root, stems and leaves, it is convenient to study the transverse section of mature zone of the zone. So see here, what the transverse section, any TS section of the root, stem and leaves. Let's see first. Here, in a dicotyledonous root, what I'm saying, in a dicotyledonous root. So in a dicotyledonous root, look at the figure 6.3a. Now I'm going to show you figure first. See this one. This one. This one is what the root here. This one is what epidermis. This one region is what cortex. This one region is what, my dear, endodermis. This one is endodermis. This one is what pericycle. And this one is what protoxylem and metaxylem. Here the protoxylem and metaxylem. So protoxylem and metaxylem, it means what? It is in between this very pericycle, right? And inside this one there is what? Pith, and there is what? Phloem, right? So see, again I'm going to check the point that in a dicotyledonous root, here the outermost layer, what the outermost layer of the root? That is epiblema. What I'm saying? Epiblema. So if I'm saying here that the outermost layer of the root is what? Epiblema, and this epiblema protrude in the form of unicellular root here. So if anybody can ask you what the epiblema protrude, it means the outgrowth region part, then it is known as what? Unicellular root hairs. Unicellular root hairs means what? The root hair which is made up of single cell. Now second thing that is very important to know here, that the cortex, and you know that this cortex consists of several layer, and so if the several layer is consist of here, so their layer is what? Thin wall. Which one wall? Thin wall. And this thin wall of parenchyma cells which having intercellular spaces. What I'm saying here? Intercellular spaces. And this very intercellular spaces having what? Innermost layer. That innermost layer was known as what? Cortex. And this cortex is called endodermis. What I'm saying? Endodermis. So here I'm saying about this endodermis, it means what? It comprises a single layer of barrel-shaped cells. What I'm saying? Barrel-shaped cell. And this barrel-shaped cell without intercellular spaces, my dear. So this one is the diagram which shows about the what? The tissue which has a tangential wall as a radial wall of the endodermal cells. Here, but here I'm going to what? A mind map of this very thing, so we not go through in a details. So that's why the things that whatever written is there, that I'm telling to you there according to NCERT. But when we go through in a details chapter, Nadia, then we know about this dicot root, monocot root, dicot leaf, monocot leaf, and then after the what? Secondary growth, cork cambium or a phalanx, phylum of cork, vascular cambium, it involves what? Vascular cambium involves what? Formation of cambial ring, activity of what? Cambial ring, a spring and ottoman wood, heart and sap wood. Okay, so these all are the secondary growths. So dear, in this very thing that here we only conclude this one thing, that what we should have to be know. But when you go in a detailed video, Nadia, then I will tell you about the things that how there is given. Okay, my dear. So this one is the short videos for the mind map of anatomy of flowering plants. Hope so you like this one thing. So if you give your like, comment and subscribe this one channel. Okay, thank you for watching me. Thank you. Have a nice day. Take care.